Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting into? You all know what we're getting into. It is Love is Blind season 8. We are now on episode 5 and it's called Breaking Up is Hard to Do. So all I'm going to say here is sometimes I don't know where Dave gets all the audacity. Like seriously, the way that this episode just literally blew up and everything was kind of blowing up in people's faces was epic. Absolutely freaking epic, yeah. So before we get into this episode, as I always do, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because I continue to be on the road to 1k. Right, so we all know the last episode left off with Lauren ripping Dave a new one. All I'm going to say is, shall we find out if Dave managed to find his voice again? Like, Lauren was like, and Dave was like, oh my God, getting redder and redder and redder. You know that man's ass was itching and flipping good and basically. So it opens basically with Molly talking to Monica and Vanessa in the women's lounge. And she's saying that her and Dave are kind of like the same person, but in male-female font. And I thought, well, if that's the case, Molly, then you are as bad as that man sitting in there literally trying to save face with Lauren right about now. Yeah, because Dave is not a good person. I'm going to put that out there. That is solely my opinion based on what I've been watching all the way through from episode 1 all the way up now to episode 5. Dave is not a very good person. No, not at all. And I would not like to have an affiliation with that man by saying that we are both the same person in male and female font. But hey, here you go. This is a woman who wants this man. All I'm going to say is let's see if Molly comes on top, basically, because I have a feeling that Lauren is going to back Dave into that proverbial corner. Yeah, I really think that as I was watching it, it was just going round in my mind. This man is going to throw over Molly and pick Lauren because of the situation that he's kind of now found himself in. But I also have a feeling that this man is going to regret his choice, because this man doesn't know how to make any type of decision. And I'll get to it where I say that why I say he does not know how to make any type of decision. So Molly is sitting there in her little group, basically being positive of who Dave is seeing as well. So yes, I think for Molly, she's now grasps the gravitation of the situation and realizes that Dave is now seeing herself and Lauren, because Molly always thought it was Sarah, and that's what she stuck to. She didn't realize it was Lauren at the end of the day. And you do see the look on Monica's face when Molly tells her that Dave knows that, you know, Molly's been single from the get-go. She's just been after him, sort of thing. And this is the look I've been giving each time Molly and Lauren date this man. It's the same look I've been giving the whole, what are you doing with this man? Why are you fighting for your lives right now over this man? It's a madness to me, absolute madness to me. So Lauren basically is in the room and she shares in terms of the fact to Dave that the way he talks to her, that maybe he's playing a really big game and talking to the same to two different people, which he does do. He does. In the past 2 dates he hadn't, but previous to that he had. So Lauren still didn't get her answer from that, because the issue with Lauren is she just literally just keeps talking and keeps talking and keeps talking, asking these questions, but then talking over the questions that she's just asked. And then you got Dave sitting there like a spare peg, because he's not able to get a breath in edgewise to be able to say, okay, then let me answer the question. Bearing in mind, Dave doesn't really want to answer these questions, so he's going to let this girl just talk non-stop to the point where she forgets what the fuck she asked in the first place. When Lauren turned around and says to him, right, she believes that Dave to be a player, this man actually laughed. He didn't say, no, I'm not. I don't know where you got that impression from. Let me stop you right there so I can talk and tell you exactly where it is that I'm at. He didn't do any of that. This man just laughed, which kind of tells me everything I need to know about this dude, basically. And Lauren isn't like reading in between the lines with this man either. She isn't using her own critical thinking because she's so angry and so het up, yeah, that she wants this man, she wants to win out from Molly. She's just literally going to go in there, nose holes barred, and literally try and bully her way to what it is that she wants. So Dave does explain that because he and Molly are so similar, they don't necessarily have deep conversations, which is true. When Dave dates Molly, it's literally been on the surface level, and the conversations that they have, to a degree that could have been sculpted as being deep, have been mundane and literally flipped the surface of that as well. So Dave says that in all of that, he's never dated someone similar to him, so that's kind of why he was taken with Molly. I don't know why Lauren feels the need at this point to do comparisons, because that's not fair to Molly. Molly is not in the room. She can't answer to what is being said at the end of the day. So these two are literally talking about this woman like she's not an individual. I don't like it when women or men do this, to be honest, to each other. So you see Lauren ask Dave, well, what is it that, I don't have in terms of what you're having with Molly? And I just thought to myself, well, at the end of the day, chica, yeah, her and Molly are two different people with different experiences. And to be fair, Lauren doesn't let Dave get a word in edgewise. I'm not defending Dave in the slightest, seriously not defending that man. But if Lauren wants an answer, and a straight direct answer from this man, she needs to stop talking. Like seriously, she needs to say her question, give him the floor, give him the space to literally say what it is that he needs to say, and see if he can talk his way out of it, basically, because that's what Lauren's going to do, to see if Dave can talk his way out of the situation. So she asked Dave, like, what is your immediate positive thing about Molly? Now, I'm kind of thinking, why does this whole situation have to be about Molly? At the end of the day, it's giving off jealousy vibes to me, right? So if Lauren and Dave are so connected, yeah, then she doesn't have to worry about someone else. She needs to have that conversation about how she's feeling with Dave, rather than dragging somebody else into it at the end of the day. Yes, we understand Lauren's pissed at the fact that what's been happening with what Molly and the potential things that he could have been saying to Molly. I think the thing that pissed Lauren off the most was the fact that Dave told Molly that she was number one at the end of the day. That's the main crux of it that pissed Lauren off no end at the end of the day. And I just thought, well, this is what all your fun got you, my friend. It was going to happen at some point. Molly was not going to call him out, yeah, in terms of his behaviour, because she literally stepped back and said, you know what, you need to figure your shit out. I am not going to sit here and argue with you and barter with you as to why I believe I am the best person for you, even though Molly knows she is the best person for him. So Lauren talks about, like, she just wanted to walk out of the place with Dave. So Lauren is basically saying that she just doesn't get it. And I'm like, what is not to get? What is not to get? All I can say is that this is Love is Blind. This is what happens in this scenario. And if people are not clued up, yes, it's probably different for people actually experiencing what's going on in there. But if you're not clued up enough to watch other episodes to see a kind of template of what other people have been through or what have they done in terms of making a successful date, in terms of, like, making it to the altar, in terms of, you both saying yes, then there's nothing more that people can do. There's nothing more that people can do, because at the end of the day, Love is Blind puts them together, but then it's up to them in terms of how they behave with each other in order to make this work. People go in there with a mindset of playing a race game, like they really do. And I think that's what Dave and especially Mason are doing. They go in there with this mindset of playing a game. They don't realise that, we've actually made these connections with these people, but there's going to be a decision forthcoming. They don't realise that when these are real people that you are playing with, someone is going to get hurt through this process. So you literally have to kind of be intentional with the movements that you make and how you make other people feel at the end of the day. So now what boggled my mind the most is the fact that Dave sat there and then started to blame Molly. Yeah, so he let it slip that he was only that she was that Molly said that she was only dating him. Now, Lauren made it seem as though Molly literally came to her on purpose. That's how Lauren was making it seem, that Molly was coming into that room saying X, Y, and Z and doing it on purpose to fuck them over, basically. And that's not how it went down at all. So Lauren, by point, should have gave a little bit of context to in terms of how Molly was speaking about him and how she was coming in, right? So Lauren, I would say, was going on dark. Like, she was literally going on dark, and due to her paranoia, yeah, because Molly wasn't even sure Lauren was dating Dave, she's now knifing Molly in the back in that dating room, like in that pod. She's knifing that girl in the back. There's no such thing as girl code for Lauren when it comes to this man, like, seriously. Because now Dave turns it and says, well, I don't like that she did that, to be honest with you, in terms of Molly coming in and having those conversations with all the other girls, which is what they do, which is what some of the men do on the other side. So these people thinking that, you know, these women are not going to talk after they've had a date, they're sorely, very, very sorely mistaken. So Dave says to Lauren, what's held us back is the not knowing, because he's not aware whether she is seeing other guys or not. And I just thought, at that point, Dave, you actual superficial arse. Like, you see how he managed to get the heat off of him to Molly and then placing now the issues onto Lauren. I thought, Dave is good. Dave is good at what he does. He knows how to talk. Once he has that space, he knows how to talk and wield that little power that he has in order to draw Lauren back into his hemisphere, because that's exactly what he's doing right now. So Lauren is letting him take over. And I don't think she sees it at all, because her eye out is completely calling now. So Lauren will give Dave what he wants, which is to say she ain't dating no other man, and she ain't been dating no other man for quite a while, basically. So Dave knows at this point in time he has utter control of two women who are actually battling over him. Well, one is battling over him, that's namely Lauren at the end of the day, and that's what he likes. He likes that little bit of power that he's now wielding at the end of the day, and Lauren's literally giving him carte blanche to do it. So Lauren says, like, you know, he is the only reason why she is there. Now he understood what she is saying when she said to him, cancel all your dates. Yeah, he thought Lauren was joking when she said that. Lauren was not kidding. She may have been giggly ha with him. Dave took it as a joke, and Lauren Lauren was not joking when she said to him, cancel all your dates, because that's what she mean. I have a feeling that Lauren could be a stage 4 clinger. This woman was fighting for that man, and I mean fighting for that man. She was like, I ain't leaving this place without this man. I am going to win out from Molly, and that's how she was playing it. He does tell Lauren that Molly gave him that space to figure his shit out, basically, which he was grateful for. Now you see Lauren sitting on the floor, being all comfortable. She's being all understanding. Remember, Dave said he don't like girl drama, even though this wasn't girl drama. This is something of Dave's own making that he needed to rectify. His ass must have itched so hard that he didn't want to be in that hot seat anymore. So he's happy that he's now winning this girl over. So now Lauren is telling Dave how she understands how torn and frustrated that he is. And I thought, bollocks, because not 10 minutes ago she was ripping him a new one, like seriously ripping him a new one. So Dave says, you know, all the placards, I'm glad you haven't given up, and Lauren says, I actually do want to. And I thought, no you don't, love. No, you don't want to give up, because if you did, you would have ended that right there, Dessa. Yeah, you wouldn't have gone in guns blazing and now sitting there like butter wouldn't melt. You would have had to talk with Dave, said, that's it, I'm done, you need to make a decision, otherwise that's it, out, and then walked out of that room. If you really was gonna go, you would have went. You wouldn't have stood for the bullshit, but you ain't, because Dave is able to reel her back in, because Dave is able to let Lauren hear what it is that she wants to hear, basically. Dave has got Lauren's number on that, like seriously. So Lauren be talking about Molly being delusional, but she's part of that delusional crowd, let me put it that way. She's on that damn list. Dave says, like, he can picture like Lauren smiling but she's crying, which she was. And then she was like, how did you know that? And I mean, love, he can hear it in your ass voice. Even though we see it, we can hear it. Yeah, we can hear that you're crying and laughing at the same time. Oh God, I don't know if this kind of reeks of more desperation than jealousy at this point. Like, seriously, you lot can let me know what you thought, but I just thought this whole lot was a freaking madness. At least Dave has some sort of sense, yeah, and tells Lauren he feels like he was getting himself into a position where he will tell Lauren things that she shouldn't, as then it won't be fair to Molly. I mean, they're both happy putting the blame on Molly, but now Dave wants to think about Molly and her emotions at this point in time. Dave said he never told Molly that she is his number one choice. Lies. They need to rewind that tape when it comes to reunion, because Dave, in no uncertain terms, told Molly more than once she is his number one and has been from day dot. So it's the lies right now that I can't comprehend from this man, thinking, does he not see the cameras pitted around this whole thing? Does he not realise that every single conversation that they have is being recorded? Does he not realise that this type of shit is the shit that will be played back to the masses in front of everybody, and everybody else actually gets to watch the programme before the reunion happens because it happens a year later? Does he not realise that? Yeah. Now Lauren is really going to believe that Molly comes in that room to get at her, and now that's some bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. So Dave keeps on continuing down this line, and I'm just like, you know what? No amount of backpedaling is going to save this man once this shit comes out that he told Molly more than once that she was his number one from day one. Never mentioned that about Lauren in the slightest. It was just Molly. So yeah, this man is full of bullshit. But then he's managing to tell Lauren about how he feels about her, and mentions that he only ever told Lauren that he could see himself proposing to her, which was true. But before that, he was telling a lie, and he knows he's telling a lie. So Dave is good. Lauren is sucking it all up because he knows, yeah, that now Lauren has been given validation. He knows this now. And now in Lauren's view, she's going to believe that Molly is the delusional one and the shit stirrer, when the main bone of contention is Molly did not lie. Molly didn't lie in the slightest. Hi, 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 hi. So Dave starts speaking about having those feelings for Lauren, and I'm like, either way, you say it or you don't say it, but at the end of the day, but you only say it if you mean it. So Dave is basically chatting, and Lauren tried to ask him in what way he made the wrong choices, but Dave obviously didn't hear her and just kept on talking. And this is why I say these two don't listen to each other at all. I, in my humble opinion, don't see a future with them. As I said, but that's just my opinion. If he picks Lauren, I do believe that it will be a mistake. And I only think he will pick her because she just showed him how fragile she actually was, basically. That's the only reason why I think Dave will pick her, because she showed this fight for him that Molly didn't necessarily show, where Molly took a step back and said, well, at the end of the day, the decision that you need to make is yours. I can't make that for you. But Dave literally liked the fact that Lauren was literally so gung-ho that she was showing all this emotion in regards to him, and she was willing to fight for him, basically. Dave doesn't really answer the question when Lauren asks him why he makes the wrong decisions. So Lauren basically at the end of their conversation said, pick me. That's essentially what she did. She became a pick-me girl. So Dave says that he feels like he's reverted to his old ways in terms of getting scared of his feelings for Lauren, and now he's trying to take a step back, and it's stressing him out and it's making him scared. And I just thought, mate, your old ways never freaking left you. They never left you at the end of the day. If Lauren didn't come in the way that she came in, do you really think that Dave would be saying what he's saying now? No, the hell he would not. He would have continued in this vein until it got to a point where he literally had to make a choice. But now it's kind of like the choice is taken out of his hands. So it's hitting Dave, basically, as he's sitting there, that Lauren doesn't scare him, but Dave scares him. I don't get the context of what he's trying to say. as like Mason, Dave will say a lot but don't mean a whole hell of a lot. So I don't know what context he's putting that in, that he scares himself in that says. So the discussion now has literally gone from the displeasures of Lauren and what she's hearing and how he is dealing with both her and Molly, to it becomes all about him. Now it's for Lauren to appease him. He just sits there and goes into a full-on panic attack now in terms of what he's allegedly now discovered, that, oh my God, I have all these feelings and I don't know what to do with them. I call bullshit, I ain't gonna lie. I really, really do. I really, really do, because this was his perfect opportunity to shut down any and all conversations and leave that room, which is what he did. Dave is so transparent that I don't understand how Lauren can't see how transparent this man is. So you see Molly still talking to Vanessa and Monica, and Sarah's now joined them. And I thought, well, that's a bit, seeing as Sarah knows Lauren went to speak to Dave and believes that Molly may be a little bit delulu, which is what she talked to Sarah about. So Molly is out there within the realm of the girls, making them believe that Dave was going to break it off with Lauren, when Dave didn't necessarily say those words. He may have indicated it, or in terms of the terminology that he used, but he definitely didn't expressly say that he was going to break it off with Lauren. So Molly was kind of wrong for that entirely, but then I can't blame Molly, because at the end of the day, as I said, when Dave says things, he doesn't necessarily put things into context, where he will say things and not necessarily know that the other person has taken another way completely. So if Molly is in the realm of thinking, well, this man says to me that he's going to break up with this person, and that's how she's taken the conversation that they had, because bearing in mind we didn't see that conversation, because I don't remember that conversation, then that's how Molly is going to take it. So that's why I'm saying, when you go into these types of programs, you have to be intentional with your language. You have to understand that in terms of what you say has consequences. Every action causes a reaction in somebody else, and within this there is always a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to communication, and that's why you literally have to be clear in what it is that you're saying, the intention that you're putting it out with. Dave and Mason are unable to do that completely. Molly then started backtracking in the chat that she was having with the girls, where she turns around and she says, well, I never asked Dave to do anything. And I just thought, well, why would you then be thinking that he's going to break it off with Lauren again? This could see Molly at the door of Delulu Land, to be honest with you. It really could, with Lauren hand in hand, both of them standing at the door of Delulu Land about this man. So now Molly is saying that Dave said, I need to end it with my next person. And I just thought, exit left and open that door to Delulu Land and enter Molly now, because wow, I am so surprised that Molly didn't start burning there with that lie, because I'm telling you, from all the episodes that I've watched so far and the dates that Molly has been on, I have not heard once out of Dave's mouth that he was going to end it with Lauren, like explicitly say he's going to end it with that girl. So even Sarah did the little side-eye thing, and as if to say, my girl, you lying. You're lying somewhere. Someone is telling faux pas here, there and everywhere at the end of the day. So Molly says that she hates being told something by a person if they're not going to do it. And I just thought at that point, my girl, not only did Dave not do it, he backtracked and called Molly a liar within the conversation that he was having with Lauren at the end of the day. I think Molly and Lauren need to have a talk, but they won't. And I think Lauren will more than likely grab whichever girl as she comes in and tell them what happened, basically. So as they're still congregating, Molly walks in and they watch her as she walks in. So you see Lauren go straight over to the kitchen quarter where Madison is. So Madison, literally, this girl has no fucking filter, she is the drama queen of drama queens, is Madison. So she literally throws it in that Molly said Dave said he was gonna break it off with her. And I thought, oh boy, here we go again. So Lauren was really shocked by that. And I think because Dave has cast so much doubt on Molly, when in fact she did tell some truths, Lauren will think that Molly's stirring the pot and won't believe it in the slightest. But this is in the case of, unless Love is Blind is holding onto that tape, as I keep saying, from what I saw, he did not tell Molly he was breaking up with Lauren. Not like that anyway. I didn't see that in the slightest. So Madison called it and said that Davey's playing like Molly and Lauren against each other. And Lauren did agree. She did agree. But the fact of it is Lauren is not letting go of that man. Let's just put it that way. So will Molly and Lauren have that chat? Because as I've said before, Dave was been playing games from jump. He loves the fact that he's able to play two women off against each other, but neither one are reading between the lines. So I have to say thank you, Madison, for stepping in on that one. So let's see if Lauren takes what Madison said on board and has that conversation with Molly. So then we see Brittany and Devin have a date. Basically Brittany talks about how she woke up sad and excited at the same time, and Devin, I think, was a little bit obtuse because he asked her, why do you feel sad? And I mean, does she have to spell it out for you, mate? At the end of the day, you had a date where she opened up herself to you and you literally shut that shit down. You were not accepting of who Brittany was or accepting of her as a whole. So what do you mean? Why is she sad? Fuck my life, man. These people are dense sometimes, you know. So she tells Devin how she feels about him. And she realised that at points in time in her life, she's very indecisive when it comes to certain things. And I thought, okay, where is this going? So then she highlighted that it would have been great to hear something else from him than what she heard from him in terms of what she shared with him. She wanted to be accepted by Devin, and that was not forthcoming. And I have to say, in this conversation, I felt it for Brittany, like seriously. So if she walked away, I said Devin would miss out on a good one, because Brittany was top notch, man. She's a good woman. She literally is a good woman, and honest to a freaking fault too. So I'm glad she told Devin that I don't want to hear what you think I want to hear. She wanted to hear the truth from him completely when he spoke to her. So basically, Brittany wanted the full, unadulterated truth from Devin, and I respect her for that, because why shouldn't she ask for that? Why shouldn't she? Because that's absolutely the bare minimum of what he could provide her. Do you know what I mean? So Brittany turned and said, in all honesty, that Devin is more rigid than she would like to have in a partner. So she said, I don't think this is going to be good for me. So basically, Brittany was walking away. I'm happy that she did that. She thought of herself. She stood in her own power and thought of herself and what it is that she wants from a partner, how she wants to be accepted from a partner. Devin was not able to give her that, and she saw that quickly. So I'm happy. I'm happy for Brittany at the end of the day, because whatever Devin said next, I actually didn't care. I really well and truly did not care. So Devin, as he did, would only saw it not working out for him and Brittany in the long run, because he couldn't get past her sexuality. He really couldn't. And for me, I think it made him insecure, basically, in terms of his non-acceptance and what he thinks would happen in a marriage or a relationship with Brittany. Yeah, he thought, I think he would be competition with others, which isn't the case. But what he says again is a moot point, because Brittany made a choice and it ain't Devin. She made a choice for herself and her happiness, and I'm glad she saw that earlier on, and she weren't continuing to be pitted in this fucking game of three with Devin and Virginia, knowing full well that Devin will more than likely pick Virginia because of the fact that she doesn't have the background that Brittany has. So he said that he would always remember Brittany speaking life into him when he talked about his issues. And I thought, well, you should, because at the end of the day, Virginia didn't do that for him at all in any way, shape or form. Brittany did that for him, not her. So Brittany says that she knows the other woman he's dating, which is Virginia, and she spoke up for Virginia as well and said, do you know what, that's my girl and she's good people. So basically, Virginia has Brittany to thank for that in regards to building her up to Devin as well, as in basically a thinly veiled warning. She's good people, don't hurt her. So Devin and Virginia have a date, and she sent him gifts and he sent her flowers. He's only got Virginia left now, basically, because Brittany chose herself. I really wish I was Brittany's friend. I ain't gonna lie, because Britney is good people's. To be honest with you, she's dime in a dozen. Do you know what I mean? She was just truthful to a fault, and she picked herself over everything, and I love that. I absolutely love that. So Devin does tell Virginia, officially it is he and her. Virginia already knows, because Britney would have spoken to her about what she was going to do anyway. And I tell you, it makes me like Britney all the more. Devin does talk about the breakup with Britney, and then they open their gifts together, right? So Virginia gave him her grandmother's ring because it represents the love that she desires in regards to what her grandmother and her grandfather had. And he gave her a cutting board with an engraving on it, which basically was him saying he loved her. Yeah. He then gave her a necklace with a heart with his initial in it, and says to Virginia that she has his heart. I thought, dude, you had no choice. You had no choice but to give that to Virginia at the end of the day, yeah? Because Britney made her choice that she was not going to go forward with Devin in any way, shape or form anyway. So as I said, I'm glad that she ended it. So he said to Virginia, I hope I have your heart. Do you think Virginia said anything back in response to that? No. All she said was, oh, I love it, I'ma put it on. I thought, well, damn. Not even oh, you have my heart too, because Virginia don't feel that way yet. Virginia don't feel that way yet. And I think Devon's going to need to understand that Virginia is going to turn around and say that she's a slow burner. And we know what it means when these people say that they're a slow burner. Do you know what I mean? So Virginia feels she knows more about Devon, and he says he feels like he has a stronger connection with her. I thought, mate, this woman didn't even tell you, yeah, that you had her heart when you were digging for it. She straight up ignored that shit from the get-go. So how is that a connection so strong? I don't know. When for so long this man had been saying that Britney and Virginia were on par with each other, and even after her revelation in terms of Britney's sexuality, he still couldn't pick which one he was going to pick. So the man is full of it right about now. So we see Ben and Sarah have a date. I'm going to tell you from jump, I don't like Ben. I don't. But we see that Sarah has the same flowers. So it seems as though everybody's just got a job lot in regards to what it is that they're going to give the women. Whereas some men did very heartfelt gifts in terms of what they wanted to give to the women. Yeah. And other men just literally just gave flowers. Okay. So they talk about like non-sexy things. I'd have to say overall the date was very mundane. It wasn't telling us anything more. Sarah basically talks about how she loves like the many qualities about Ben, and I thought that's all well and good, but when it comes to the fundamental issues, yeah, where them two are kind of split from, yeah, how in sync are they going to be within their relationship or their marriage? Especially with someone who thinks the way that Ben thinks, when it comes to the fundamentals around their values and their morals and other people within the community, especially minorities. How is that going to join together and come together unless Ben takes and adapts to her way of thinking? So Sarah basically thinks that she's met her twin flame. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not. I'm going to keep going. So Sarah said that to Ben, she feels like this is it, and Ben got so excited that this man started kicking his legs in the air like a little child. I just kind of think that Sarah overlooks now the past date that they had and what he said. I do think that they'll run into issues when it comes to their especially their political views and how they see the community as a whole. And that's my opinion. I couldn't be with someone who would be so willfully ignorant on people who don't look like him. Like, seriously, I couldn't be. So Sarah is basically saying that she loves this man, and I have nothing more to say on that matter, really. So you see Sarah and Lauren having a chat in the women's lounge, and she's speaking to her about Ben and her date with him. So she says it's not like she and Ben have opposing viewpoints, and I'm like, you actually do, to be fair. because this man is willfully ignorant on important issues and Sarah had to call him out on it. So that would mean them having opposing views to each other at the end of the day. But I think Ben gave her what she wanted to hear, so he could deflect from the discussion as a whole, because it's uncomfortable for him to speak about at the end of the day. But Sarah still then says she wants the reassurance from Ben due to the importance of those causes she follows and values in her. Yeah, she wants them to be on the same page. So then how can Sarah then say that her and Ben don't have opposing views when they do? Contradictory much, in my opinion. So she wants a partner to be able to empathize with others and put themselves in their shoes. And I've already said Ben can't do that. He has shown he cannot do that when he speaks about marginalized communities. It doesn't affect him. So that's his privilege, to be able to remove himself from a situation that doesn't affect him. And he will continue to do that because he's continued to do that throughout life. It's what he's been learned as a child, growing up to the adult that he is now, and he continues to live by it. You can't teach someone to have empathy as an adult, because that'll be freaking damn hard, because they're already stuck in their ass ways. So as I said, I don't know how they're going to get past that bit, but it's going to rear its ugly head again. I can feel it in my waters. So Sarah and Ben are in the pods again, and Sarah's given him all the accolades, that he's a great person, that she loves him. But then she turns around and says to him point blank that she needs the reassurance from him about her social causes. She says that she knows that they don't have opposing views. I, in my opinion, will say that they do, and they're quite fundamental opposing views, but hey ho. So Ben is saying he's not looking at it as Sarah's responsibility to help him with that. He says that he has that motivation to grow into it. I'm like, mate, if you had the Ross motivation, yeah, you would not have sat in Sarah's face and said, oh, I keep out of it as your answer. So I call BS on that. I absolutely call BS on that. And he's saying what Sarah wants to hear right now, right this minute, to get a yes from this girl. So Sarah does take him at face value. And she, even though she says, I'm usually not such a skeptical person, but she believes that everything that's happened has led her to him, and she believes in it basically. So Ben does ask Sarah to marry him. She says yes, and now we have Ben and Sarah as a couple. Previous to that, we have Monica and Joey as a couple. So Devin asked Dave if Molly was his one, and Dave said that's the confusing thing, because Lauren was his one. Was as in past tense, yeah. But I shall continue down the lines of bull this man is giving. So he said he and Molly get along so well, so that is where the confusion is. But he was sure with Lauren in his date with her that he's now able to make this full-on decision that he needs to make. Again, Dave says a lot of things but doesn't make much sense at all. It isn't very clear on who the hell it is that he's picking when he's having this conversation with the lads. So he says it causes a lot of issues with his sister and stuff like that, and then the waterworks start. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing to see a man cry. Yeah, it's good when a man does cry and let out those emotions. But for Dave, I think he uses it as a source of some type of emotional manipulation, because he doesn't want to have to deal with the issues at hand. He wants to be able to deflect from it and have people gravitate towards him and give him that solace and that comfort. So I would really like to know what sway or how much of an input his sister has in his life, basically, because it sounds like she runs it for him. That's what it sounds like. So Devin told Dave that he has to think about what's best for him in the end. As I said, because he's really blarting his eyes out at this point. I've never known a man to be so red in the face, be crying, but no tears. There's no tears there. I have a suggestion about what he could do, though, is to just don't pick anyone and go home. But I know that's not going to happen. So Lauren is in the women's lounge I can't remember who she's talking to, but she's saying, I don't think I'm dumb, but I don't think Molly is dumb too. And she mentioned that Molly was waiting for Lauren to walk in because Dave said that he was going to end things with Lauren. So Lauren is fully questioning everything now, but I still don't think she's questioning enough at the end of the day. So Molly basically talks about how she's picking up weird vibes, and I thought, this is what happens when a man decides to play games and two women take him at face value, yeah, in an effort to fight for being the best one in order to be picked. And I'm going to have to say it, they've literally become pick-me girls. Like, seriously, they have. In fighting for this man who I don't think is worth any of their time. Like, both of them. So Molly says she is not sure why Dave has not broken it off with the other girl yet. Because he's not going to, Molly. He's not going to break it off with the other girl, because what's going to happen is he's going to break it off with you instead. So Dave and Molly have a date. So Dave is telling Molly that he'd been crying for the past hour, and still when he explains it, it don't make much sense of why he's been crying. He just talks about how he was a different person that he was from yesterday. And I thought to myself, at this point, this man really needs to seek some emotional therapy. He really needs to seek some help, because he's got some issues, underlying issues going on here, like seriously, that nobody can help him with, especially a wife. So it seemed as though Molly was telling a bit of the truth in that Dave said that he was going to break it off with Lauren, and he's backtracking now because Molly literally says, oh, but wasn't you meant to end it with someone? And then he was like, no. So he tells Molly, when I come from our dates with them two, he said he feels so good, and then when I come from the other one, I feel all this pressure. That's not what he was saying to Lauren 5 rotting minutes ago, though. Jesus. Dave is full of shit. This man is literally playing these two women off against each other, but still continuing to draw them in. Yeah, this man needs to make a decision and stand on it. Otherwise, these two women will really need to gather their decorum and fucking leave. Their decorum, their pride, whatever it is, put it in the suitcase and say, do you know what, I've had enough. I'm not going to keep going through this. But they're not going to do that, are they? No, they're not. No man is worth all of this angst, like seriously. So Dave then starts crying. No tears, I might add. No tears running down this man's cheeks. His face is just red. Yeah, and says he's fucked up. So Molly asked him, is there a reason that he's so conflicted? Dave says, I try not to make an emotional decision. Dude, you're already emotional. Any decision you make is going to be an emotional decision, so just fucking get on with it, you know what I mean? So Molly says what she wants and how she feels is she's not there to force anything at all. But I think Molly needs to literally just get into her power beat now and literally put it out there if she really wants to walk away with this man. I think Dave wants Molly to make the decision and take it out of his hands. He's manipulating Molly, I think, into ending things. So Dave says he feels he and Lauren had to see it through. So Dave essentially, without being explicit, made a decision, but he doesn't want to say he made the decision. Molly, in essence, did stand on business. So she basically asked Dave, in terms of what I was thinking, what do you want right now? And just like that, Molly said, he saying he wants Lauren without saying it? And is he trying to make Molly make the decision? No matter how much Dave denied it, yeah, that's exactly what he was doing. That's exactly what he was doing. And I see it completely, and it's why I said it. And I'm glad Molly saw it too, basically. So Molly point blank said to him, are you trying to end it with me? Crickets from this man. Like, he didn't say a damn thing. So Molly said, I think you should own your decision and make it. And I thought, well done. Well done. That's the most on point thing Molly has done within her dates with this man. Dave, and his piss poor response, said, I thought I just did. Mate, you know you didn't. He knew he didn't. At this point, I would have said just goodbye and walked out. There would have been nothing more for me to say to this man. Yeah, all of that would have made me say, you are definitely not the man for me at all. He is spineless. coming in there with the manufactured blubbering at the end of the day. So Molly told him good luck and goodbye. Dave is going to live to regret that decision, I'm telling you that now. So Molly comes into the lounge and then has a chat with Lauren to let her know she really didn't know it was Lauren who was speaking to Dave, and she ends up apologizing to Lauren for all like the behaviors that she did when she came out. I do feel it for Molly, because Molly did get upset and she did feel hurt by this man. So both women do talk about Dave, and they don't go into any proper depth. And Lauren does say like he should not have put us in that position, and that's on him. She does tell Lauren that Dave wants to pursue things with her, and at least Lauren didn't do a song and dance in front of Molly. But let me trust you, when Molly started walking away, Lauren definitely started grinning her ass off. So then we see Dave and Lauren in the room together. And lo and behold, after all that blubbering, this man walks in fine and happy. Now he says different reasons as to why he's crying, as to what he was saying to Molly. And this is what I mean. This man changes up with the motherfucking wind, depending on who he's speaking to. So Lauren did ask like were there promises made of him ending things with her. Dave, of course, is going to say he never made a promise. He didn't make a promise, but he did put those words out there and made it appear to Molly he was going to end things with Lauren. So yeah, there is that. Dave is full of shit. He didn't really end it with Molly at all at the end of the day. He wanted Molly to make that decision for him. Man didn't even make sense on what he was doing. So to sit and chat to Lauren about how he ended things with Molly and the fact that Molly didn't care, then he backtracks from that statement. Dave is a full-on game player. Dave is a full-on game player, yeah. Dave is a bitch all the way to the cycle and the back. I'm sorry. The way in which he threw Molly under the bus is beyond me. He knows, yeah, that this will be played right back at him. Dave is a grot. He has no shame. He really has no shame. He bold-faced lying up in this bitch, because how can he sit there and tell Lauren he didn't say to Molly she was his number one? Absolute bullshit. This man said a lot, and now he's telling Lauren that she's his number one. I was like, Dave is not genuine at all. He's a little shit. He thinks he's falling in love with Lauren, and of course she falls for all his BS that he says, because that's what she's been doing since the day she dated this man. Dave is scared about his sister, and basically it's freaking him out. Dave just knows what to say, and Lauren believes that, you know, Dave has reassured her, but I really don't think he has at the end of the day. So in a marriage, Dave says, I feel like I'm important to you, and I feel you want me to want you. And I was like, huh? That's his definition of a marriage? That he feels he's important to her and feels that she would want him to want her? I swear down that you have to listen to this man's words to know that he peddles bullshit, but makes it shiny to whoever he's speaking to draw them in. And he can do that to certain people, and he did that to Lauren, and to a point he did it with Molly. So then we see Daniel and Tyler. To me, they're always the same. There wasn't really anything to say about their date. They exchanged gifts that means something to them. And again, for me, I don't think Tyler wants to commit to Daniel really, or if that's just how she goes through life in terms of not necessarily showing a lot of emotion. Daniel, she said that Daniel makes her feel special, loved and important, and Tyler gives him nothing. Like nothing at all. Out of that whole speech after they exchanged their gifts and they talked about it. And she doesn't even reciprocate in kind to him. I don't hear her validate him at all. I don't know. I just don't know with them two. So you see Ben and Sarah meet. This man full on ran to Sarah. Like Sarah came out like, and she was walking. This man went and started bombing down that fucking car. I thought he was going to knock that poor girl over. She was walking in the park. She was watchful of him. But I didn't know if she was impressed by him or not. But Ben just did way too much. He grabbed that gal up, he kissed her, and she reciprocated, so she does like him. She does. So it was a good meet, all in all, basically. So Ben asked her, like, does she love him? And she said, yes, I love you. And he said the same. They were kind of the same people that they were there together physically than as they were in the pods, basically. There was no differences in them. Looking at them together, do you think they suit each other? I think at some point Ben's ignoramus side will come out, and I think at some point Sarah's head will spin when it does come out, and I don't know if it will work out for them. That's all I'm going to say. But I just know with this meet they could not put each other down. They were very, very locked in with each other. So you see Dave and Lauren have a date, and again it's all about Lauren. She's talking over and over and over and over, and I'm just like, Jesus, do you not give yourself a break? I mean, sometimes when I'm doing these recordings, I have to stop and start because I have to give my vocal cords a break. But Lauren doesn't take a fucking breath. My God. So Dave is then blasting Lauren with all this love. He didn't really fill me with no confidence. From my perspective, Dave just knows what he needs to say and how much he needs to say. Does he truly mean it? I don't think he does. I think in his head he believes he means it, but I don't really think he does. So now he's proposing to Molly. To Molly. He wished he's proposing to Molly. No, he's proposing to Lauren. So we have Dave and Lauren as the next couple. Lauren got what she wanted. Let's hope she does not live to regret that. And then comes Mason, and you know what? I absolutely forgot about this dude, you know. He still doesn't know that Madison and Alex are together. He must have cottoned on by now, like, really. And the thing of it for me is, in the men's lounge, before he went to go on his date with Madison, it was like Alex giving him all these pep talks, knowing what is essentially coming his way. And I thought, Alex, take a breath, take a step back, leave this man to his own devices, because he's not going to thank you for the bullshit that you're peddling on him right about now. I mean, do you want this man to humiliate himself? Do you know what I mean? If it was Madison that he was going to choose. The smile that Alex gave after he'd had his little chat with Mason before he went off to his date told me all I needed to know, man. Because my thing would have been, let me give this dude some space. Let him go and do what he needs to do, or Madison go and do what she needs to do, before I then come and have a chat with him afterwards. So we see Madison and Mason go and have a date. This man actually got her a cream pie for breakfast. I thought, mate, you are ready to fall from a great height right about now. So Madison asked him if he heard the news and assumed that Mason knew that she was no longer in play. I mean, this tells me all I need to know about Madison. Because Madison manipulated that situation with Alex. So Alex, in essence, would tell Mason and she wouldn't have to. Yeah, because don't forget, she told the girls to keep it on the DL because she was the one that needed to break up with somebody else. So that was fucked up on Madison's part at the end of the day. Going in there innocently asking, I thought you knew. Mate! Like, come on. So Madison was smizing throughout all of this. Like, really smizing. So she did exactly what Mason always says happens to him with women when they find somebody else. So Mason talked about how he probably added unnecessary pressure on Madison when he said he was committed to her. And I thought at that point, no, because Madison orchestrated that conversation from the conversation that they had previously. Yeah. So Mason is now backtracking from the situation that he caused, because now that he doesn't have Madison in play, he's now saying that he didn't mean what he said, but Madison believed that she already knew he didn't mean what he said. Now, Mason is full of shit, because if he honestly well and truly believed, yeah, that he did the wrong thing in saying to Madison, oh, I'm committed to you, yeah, he would have went to her either that same day and said, you know what, I think I said the wrong thing and I need to speak to you about it. The next day he would have spoke to her, which he did not. And even as he walked in on this date, even in preparation for this date, he would have walked in and told her, look, I really need to talk to you about something, and said that to her, but he didn't. The only reason why Mason is backtracking now is because of the fact that Madison's dumped him. That's the only reason why he's backtracking now, because, you know, she hurt his ego and his male pride. And then he's also kind of thought on the flip side, there's Meg. So Madison turns around and tells Mason that she's had these conversations with Meg. she's literally said that her and Meg have spoke, and she did speak to Meg about this situation. I was just like, oh, Madison, Mason did bring it on himself, but raw. When you're too busy playing fast and loose with these women, not thinking that the women will talk at some point, that's where you sorely misjudged everything. So my thought was, will Mason be able to do damage control now? Because as Madison is saying, he may have lost Meg too. Madison really didn't care. She didn't care. That girl was smiling. She was smiling. She was a little bit of a shit towards Mason, to be honest, during that date. Because she got out what she needed, and then she fucked off and told him to have a good day, basically. Oh, that's not going to work out well for Mason. Let's just put it that way. So Madison goes back to the women's lounge and basically tells them that, you know, breakups are good. And then she turns around in front of Meg and said, oh, well, Mason was a little bit of a clown. And although Meg kind of smiled, she did not look comfortable in that space whatsoever, because I think Meg has actual feelings for this man. Like, seriously. We then see Mason walk into the men's lounge, and he tells them that he's got broken up with. And I would say, in the worst way ever, he got broken up with. Madison didn't sugarcoat anything with this man. She let him have it with 2 freaking smoking barrels, and then ridiculed the hell out of him when he left that room. Mason's ego took a rash beating, and then on top of it, Alex comes to offer him solace, not knowing still that Madison didn't identify Alex as her boyfriend to Mason. She's left that mess entirely up to Mason, but I'm thinking by this time Mason should have guessed it by now. Do you know what I mean? So Mason tells Alex that that him and Meg were literally been talking about him, and he basically said to Alex that he said something to the other girls, something he regrets. And this is why Mason should not have ran gung-ho into what Madison had orchestrated. But as I said, Madison is a sensei in the art of manipulation. Alex seems to think that the women are not talking about them. And I'm like, Alex, come on, dude. Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you okay? Of course the women are going to chat about who it is that they're dating, especially if they're saying something to one woman and then going in and having these fabulous dates with another woman. Of course they're going to talk. So Mason set Alex right that yes, they are talking. So Madison goes into the women's lounge and she's talking to the group, and she basically tells the group what she said in regards to telling Mason, like, he's lost both of them. Meg was not happy with that. Like, she was totally not happy with that, because she doesn't know what decision she's going to make. Yeah. So Madison then started to backtrack when she saw Meg's reaction in regards to that, because I'm like, yeah, because at the end of the day, Madison spoke for someone else when that person's not there to say, actually, this is what it is that I'm thinking. She shouldn't have done that at the end of the day, and it was a petty game, because she wanted to hurt Mason in the process. So that's why she brought Meg up. I'm not defending Mason in any way, shape or form, but Madison did wrong in that, to be honest with you, because Madison is too inner. So now she turns around to Meg and she's asking Meg if she will end it with Mason. What business is it of yours at the end of the day? That's none of your ass business. At the end of the day, Meg is hearing all this information and she has to have the opportunity to process it in terms of what it is that she's going to do. So the girls, and especially Virginia, points out to Meg that she needs to listen to what it is that Mason says first before making any decisions, as information is power. Meg talks about, but you know what, it's my pride. But Virginia says, then I would challenge you to think about that too, and also read, this is me saying this, but in my opinion, Meg needed to also read the lines of what Madison is saying, because in my opinion, you're in a pod talking to strangers, finding one to marry is going to add another layer of pressure on anybody, and Mason should have been more thoughtful and intentional on what he was saying to each of the women, because he had to consider how that was going to play out or be versed to any other person when they go back into the women's lounge. Jesus. So Mason and Meg have a date. So Mason starts off with the fact that he was worried walking into that room with Meg, and he was happy that she wasn't in a bad mood. And I thought, man, you don't know the essence of a woman, yeah, because when a woman in the face of negativity like that shows joviality, yeah, doesn't mean she's in a bad mood, but she's looking for another way to skin you motherfucking alive. Let's just put it that way. So Meg wants an explanation from Mason. So Meg is not going to say anything. She wants a full explanation from him. So Mason is honest when he said he validated Madison, but then afterwards said that it didn't feel right to him and he felt confused. Now Meg asked the right question where she said, but did you feel confused before or after Madison dumped you for Alex? I thought it was after, my gal. It weren't even before. Man didn't even lead into that when he walked into the room. He continued to validate Madison, especially with the little inside joke that they had about the cream pie for her breakfast. Yeah, until Madison brought up what she needed to bring up, and then that's when Mason came with the shit. So Mason is good. He had a ready answer for Meg. Let's just put it this way. I don't know if I believe him, to be fair, but it will come down to Meg and if she believes him enough to give him a chance. So Mason says, you have always been my number one, but if that was the case, Mason, you didn't show her this in any way, shape or form with any of the dates that you had her. You didn't validate her in any way, shape or form, but you ended up going and validating somebody else. And that's where the episode ended. So I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always say, my renegades, my people, everybody out there, if you do come in, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so we know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do the good things that you do, because I am on the road to 1K. Peace out.